It's Anthony with Land Title. I wanted to bring you the update for Erie for the month of June and lots of exciting stuff taking place here. So let's get right into some of what's happening. Now we're seeing it's still a 9% increase in sales price year over year. We've seen this bounce around quite a bit, but Erie is highly desirable. There's a lot of homes selling, and there's finally something for people to purchase. So this is a really interesting market. Let's get into it a little bit more. The median's gone up 8.5%, right in line with that average, and we're really seeing some pretty reasonable appreciation this year. Not 20% like we saw last year, but really, really good still. Now, the attached market, really not much to be said about it. The numbers look all over the place, but as you probably know, there's not a ton of attached units in Erie. So we basically need to take a lot of this with a grain of salt, but you can generally see this year is a lot better than last year. We look at it price per square foot. This is still a bargain compared to most stuff in the area. Basically your proximity to major city centers is kind of where we gauge things. So in Boulder, it's $600 a square foot. It gets less and less and less the closer you get, or the farther east you go. So Erie is in Boulder County, in at least part of it, and we're getting $250 a square foot. I mean, Broomfield's at $300. Longmont's kind of in the same vein. So it's still a really affordable place to live in comparison. The price per square foot is rising really fast, though, even with all the building taking place out of there. And here we are kind of settling into what looks like a little bit more of our new normal. If we go over to the active units and the new listings on the market, this is where it's just astounding in Erie. Erie has been so short and starved for inventory for so long that look at the active units. They've risen by over 100%, which is a really healthy thing for buyers. So if you're a buyer, this is a really good time to get into the Erie market because there's actually homes for sale. Now, if you look at this, the blue lines here are 2022. And in 2022, we've had way more listings come to market than we have in any of the past, at least not last year, right? So we're not starved for inventory anymore. We have lots coming on the market. Some of this is that seasonal trend. The other part of this is buyers have kind of fallen off quite a bit over the last month. That rising interest rate has really hit the pendings and under contracts. So that being said, we had a rise in inventory. We have more homes coming on the market, but we're not putting all of them under contract every month now. It's really, really important right now to make sure that if you're listing a house, it's buttoned up, the quality is really good. Do those little details so you take it to market, it actually goes quick. Because in the next slide, you'll see we're moving fast. The month supply of inventory, though, is doubled in the course of since this time last year, and it went up really fast because when you put 110 homes on the market, we only sell 67. Make sure you're in the, if you're listing, make sure you're one of the better homes on the market because they are going under contract fast. You can see they're going under contract just as fast as they were last year. I think a lot of it has to do with people overpricing houses. That partially is why stuff's sitting on the market. The other part of it is you really need to button it up and do it right now. So if you're a buyer, it's an awesome time because there's probably some stuff sitting on the market in Erie. And now it's probably not going to sit for very long, so you got to take advantage of that. But the turnover is not nearly as fast as it was last year, even though it's moving in 12 days. So it's probably not going to sell in the first weekend. It could sit on the market a little longer, but if it's priced right, it's buttoned up, it's going to look good. Now, you can see that the bidding wars have really slowed down. That's kind of the last piece of information to putting this whole puzzle together is we're at 102.3% listed sale price. So this is still an incredible seller's market. They're moving fast. They're going over asking price, but we really need to price appropriately because the peak of the market was 2 months ago. Normally, the peak of the market is in May or June. And that being said, we're finally in this position where we really want to make sure it's done right because that's going to continue to drop down, back to some sort of normal. Now, we've been in this Goldilocks real estate market for 2 years. So the one thing you got to remember is that when we come back down to 100%, that is totally normal. It's okay to be under 100%. If we sit at that 98% like we kind of were in 2019, 99%, that's still an awesome market for real estate. So we have a long ways to go before we get back to reality, but at least the pendulum's finally starting to swing back. If you have any other questions, I'm Anthony at Land Title. Catch you on the next video.